Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking trap addict. Bye. In a menudo style and direct fashion, we're going to get straight into the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on also. That way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up, man. Now, I wanted to tell you guys a story, right? It involves some Crips and Bloods and a couple of Norte thugs, right? It involves a Crip, right? This particular Crip, man, he was a youngster, but he was off the hook. He was on his O-Dog shit. I could tell the first time I seen him walk into the building in prison, this guy was a gangster, man. This guy was not going to stand for no bullshit, no racial shit. And you got to understand, in prison, it's going to be racial. Regardless if you like it or not, if you agree with it, that's just the way it is. But this guy was not going to go out like that. This was not his agenda. He was for his people, first and foremost, the Crips. But he definitely wasn't going to come to play games or fall into the agenda that was being pushed. This guy was about that shit. So I remember when he came into the building, man, I was able to facilitate a conversation and chop it up with him. He was new. So, of course, at this time, I'm out of state doing time in prison, man. And a lot of the Crips that were there from California, there's very, very few. You know, when one would come from California, I immediately gravitated towards them. Any brother that would come from California, it's like, hey, bro, you need anything? I would look out for him because not only did I want to put a favor in the back pocket, but at the same time, I felt some type of kinship, right? You know, like, hey, we know what it is, bro. We come from California. We rock a certain way. Our politics are similar, man. At one point in time, and I would give a lot of these guys clecha that there was CXIV and Norteños and Crips and YA when I was there, ran close and tough, man. So I just felt some type of friendship there. So I remember getting at him, bringing him down a couple soups and a couple bars of soap. Now, as people already had looked out for him, there wasn't too many Crips there. There was a lot of brothers there. There was Bloods there. But they weren't doing that Cripping and Blood, and it was more on a truce thing, or they weren't really tripping like that. It was kind of a black thing. So anyways, he gets there, man, and this vato is sweaty, and he looks like he's on scante, right? Straight up, he looks like he came out of the hole. He had got moved from the hole to this building. He looked like he was ready to go. His adrenaline was pumping. So he was like, hey, man, good looking out. But I remember he was a little standoffish, like, hey, man, what the SA's trying to do, right? And I was like, nah, bro, I'm a northerner. I'm just looking out for you, bro. I'm from California, too. It's all love. It's California love, like a Dr. Dre song. So he was like, cool, right? We were cool. I never got at him again. A couple days later, the word on the curb is this dude has the tendency to smash woods, right? What he would do was he would find the biggest fucking wood or skinhead on that building or in that yard, wherever, and get off, right? Maim them. Vicious shit. Well, this was going to be a little bit crazy, right? So trip out on this. So we had a white dude that was there that fit the mold perfectly, right? He was a skinhead. He was big, man. Stood probably about 6'5", probably about 290, almost 300. All muscle, made Wes Watson look like a fucking, a piece of bubble gum, right? He looked like that little fucking bazooka bubble gum. Spit him out. Just way big dude, right? But he was cool. He was relaxed. He was calm, man. I liked him in the building because he was the type of white dude, man, that conversated with everyone. Yes, he was the llavero. Yes, he had the respect. Yes, he had been around. He wasn't from California. He was from out of state. But the way he carried himself reminded me of old school Woods. Yes, brother. Ones that I'd been around that just were calm dudes, weren't all spun out. You know, you think a white man, you know, you think meth. You think coffee, brother, right? You think that they're always on one, but that's not the case, man. Most of them dudes are just mellow, just trying to get by and do their time just like anyone else, man. Don't judge a book by its cover because you'll fucking be covered in sangre. So anyways, he was one of them dudes. I used to conversate with him all the time. We worked in the kitchen together, and he was a lifer, so that vato would look out. This is how it was in this particular kitchen, man. We'd get there, we'd handle our business, we'd do our work, and then at the end of the shift, man, you'd get your double tray, man, get as much bread as you wanted, a few little other zuzus and wham-whams, but he would always make something extra for the crew. So one day it'd be like extra bacon hamburgers or bacon cheeseburgers, or it'd be fucking burritos or, you know, breakfast sandwiches. But he was one of them dudes that looked out. It was a black lifer that was in there that would look out, and him. And they coexisted. They were actually real cool with each other. It was crazy because in this particular spot, man, it wasn't as racial as you would think it was. It was divided, of course. by race. That's pretty much how it is. But it wasn't where they like actively tripped on each other or, man, I watched this white dude eat after this black dude and vice versa. Put it like that. Here, you want half my burrito, brother? You know what I mean? Don't tell the fellas, right? It would be like that. And no one tripped. It wasn't like that. And I kind of enjoyed that about this particular place because it was a general population yard. Everybody was active. Wasn't no chomos fucking gonna wiggle. Wasn't no none of that wild shit. But there was a whole lot of mutual respect between gangs, between races. And to experience that was something totally different than what I've previously experienced in other states and in California. It was never like that, right? I never once in my life seen a black dude eat after a white or vice versa. They just didn't do it. It's unheard of. But it happens in the cuts. Everything happens in the cuts. Vatos that don't say that they don't do drogas or they're not allowed to, believe me, they're in the cell like, keep trucha, right? Believe me, it's going down. Whatever you think doesn't happen, happens. And whatever you think happens probably doesn't. So anyways, this guy had a reputation, this big white guy, of being a knockout artist. I only seen him in a couple fights, man. Actually, I didn't actually see him knock people out, but people would run up in his cell or he'd call people out. And usually the people he was knocking out were his own gente, other white men, right? I never seen a black and a brown and white issue or a black and white issue because everybody would get off. Get off where you're mad at, man. You're not going to put hands. This was a level 4 facility. You're not going to put hands, fingertips, toes, toenails, gaspa, nothing on another race, man. It's gonna set it off. That's just how it is. That's prison for you. You can't disrespect another race. You can't disrespect your own people. So how the fuck are you gonna disrespect someone else? They're gonna feel highly disrespected. And you're gonna get checked, chin checked. So there was a couple times, man, where he would drag a little white dude into his cell and he didn't get coffee, brother, right? He came out looking like he fucking rubbed coffee all over his eye because he got fucked off. So this guy was undefeated pretty much. Had that reputation, a lifer. And one thing I could advise people that are going into prison that haven't been there is leave the lifers alone, bro. That's their pad. Recognize and understand that that's their house. That's their canton. They're going to live there forever. They're not going anywhere. So watch what you say around them. Anything can be misconstrued as disrespect. If they're having a bad day, you need to wiggle around them. Doesn't mean you have to be scary and not fucking chop it up and be yourself around them. It just means have respect for what these guys are doing in their time, man. People seem to forget that there's others that are going through a worse struggle or a hardship than they are. Yes, we're all locked in this cage together. Yes, man, we all got to do time and every man is equal. But at the same time, have some sympathy in your heart, for what he's going through. He ain't no weirdo. He fucking dedicated and sacrificed and made the ultimate sacrifice. He's doing life, Respect it. Respect his gangster. That's the problem with a lot of youngsters nowadays, or even old heads, man, that don't know the biz. Nobody respects anyone. Everyone's only worried about themselves and what they got going on, rather than fucking caring about what the next man, how he's wiggling, right? You got to worry about everything around you and play your cards right and be a respectful convict. That's the definition of a convict. Someone that knows how to carry themselves to a certain standard with professionalism and be respectful to everyone. If you're not laced up right, here's the knowledge you can't get in college. Anyways, he was one of them cats where he was doing life, man, but he didn't act like he was super tough. He had all the tattoos. He was big, like I said, a monster, but he was the coolest guy on the yard. You could go talk to him. If you wanted to get in the kitchen, he'll plug you in. Didn't care what race you were, Hey, it would be like that. You'd be like, man, I'm trying to get in the kitchen. I'm trying to work. Everyone's always trying to get a side hustle or work. The kitchen was always my spot. No matter what prison, what state I went to, the kitchen is the area for me, right? I like to make pruno. I like zoos and wham-whams and snacks. I like to go in there and wiggle, steal all the peanut butter. So, he was one of those guys, if you wanted to get in, he had the llaves. He had the keys to that. The free staff, the cops. He had been down for a long time, man. Go get at him. He can't even get at the cop. Hey, can you put me in the kitchen? Go get at fucking Bryant, right? That's his last name was Bryant. That's all I'll say. But anyways, so this Vato fucking, he's doing his own thing. Now let's get back to the black brother, right? The Crip, the young Crip. So this guy came in and he was very political. And political, not in the Crip ways, but more like a Black Panther, man. Every time, he was there for about a week, but he was on his Black Panther hype, man. He always was quoting Huey Newton. He was always quoting a lot of these Black Panthers from back in the days. He was very militant in his stance, and he was young. He was laced up by an OG, I can tell you that. He was very educated. But again, man, when you have that militant mindset, you are brainwashed or you're indoctrinated to hate the opposition. He hated the white man. Didn't really care about the Mexicans, man. Didn't really trip off us, especially the Norteños. There was a few of us, man. He was cool with us because we looked out. Like I said, man, there was always that that good friendship, I guess you could say. But he got to a point where a lot of the brothers were like, come on, bro, you're just doing too much. You're trying to stir controversy. And one thing I could tell you about prison, man, is if you start to be that one that's looked at as stirring the shit up, stirring the pot, being hella extra, your own people are going to remove you. Your own people are going to feel some type of way. So anyways, this guy was known as a headhunter. He had been in a whole bunch of previous buildings, and he had went to the hole from every building, because what he would do is he was a knockout artist himself. This youngster had major hands. He had caveman hands. I'll have the mango salsa. His shit was all scraped up, right? It looked like fucking, he put his shit in a blender and just made salsa, right? That fool was ready. So pushing all this, the white dudes, I could see, they would walk by him and they would suck their teeth and they would kind of roll their eyes, and everybody was starting to feel some type of way. I even pushed off from him because I was like, damn, bro. Okay, Malcolm X was cool, eh? But fuck, you know what I mean? He's the leader of the free world. Now fuck, eh? You know what I mean? You're a Crip. What up with Tukey, right? So that was what I was on. So I understood he was kind of a J-cat, but he was educated J-cat, right? And he was unstable. You know, he was the type of dude, he'll flight first. If you disrespect him or he felt it, he's going to get off. So anyways, his whole thing was headhunting. He would get to these buildings and knock out the biggest white guy that was in that building. And I guess that's what he was pretty much known for. So the word traveled to the brothers, man, and they got at them, they got at us, and they were like, look, man, this kid right here is going to fuck the program off. We had a good, smooth program going. There was a lot of frajos in this building. There was a lot of other stuff in the building, a lot of weed, man. So the brothers were happy, right? They was getting their little gelato on. Everything was good, right? This is pre-gelato. I'm just throwing that in there. But they was getting their little skunkarelli on. They was smoking some skunk, right? It was smelling good in there. So nobody wanted to fuck off their program. And let me explain something to you guys that have never been to prison. Those that have been, they'll identify. They know I know what I'm saying. You're not bigger than the program, eh? No man, north, south, east, west, black, Crip, blood, Kumi, white, fucking Asian, Uso, none of you guys, not one person is bigger than the program or their cause, homes. There's always going to be a programa or something going on behind the scenes that means more than your dusty ass, homes. That's just what it is. You need to understand that in prison, homes, you are on the last bottom of the pecking order unless you are that one and you have status. Other than that, homes, you are, believe me, another racist program even comes before what you got going on, homes. Unless there's disrespect that becomes involved, then they'll back your play. People will back their homies up and back their gente up. But if they got fucking a lot of drugs going on, a lot of cell phones going on, a lot of whatever going on, but best believe, homie, it's going to stay going on and you could go somewhere. So these black dudes get asked, they're like, hey man, we think this guy's going to fuck off our program. Look, he might have to go. But they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to fuck up. Like I said, it was some Bloods, a couple of non-affiliates, some Muslims. I think there was like one or two other Crips. But they had already kind of like pushed this guy off a little bit. None of them, I'm not going to say they were scary. I'm not going to say that. They just didn't want to be the one to do it. So they were kind of like throwing lugs out there like, damn Northerners, right? Y'all motherfuckers stab people. Like, handle your business. Like, hey, that is not, we're not going to touch another race. That's going to set shit off in other buildings for our gente, for our people. It's none of our business, eh? You know, we don't have to eat with this guy or deal with them, man. We could kind of just push on and play pinochle over here. You guys got to handle your business. You know, and it wasn't that the brothers wanted some sucker shit. Far from that. They just had some shit going on with the weed trade. They weren't trying to go. None of them were trying to go to the hole, right? They didn't have soldados like that would just handle business like that. We had homeboys, frontline status. You know, if something needed to go down, it'd go down, or I'd take care of it myself. You know, everybody would handle their own business. I wasn't the hardest motherfucker there, but I would get hard if I needed to. You know, hard game, stand up. So anyways, these whites are noticing a lot of whispering and movement. So the big white dude and another little skinny skinhead, I remember, man, he was fucking with the activities. This dude later on in life, and I've told the story, he actually bit a fucking black dude's nose off on the yard. Facts. Went to the yard, they were tripping, he fucking bit the dude's nose off. He was claiming Nazi lowrider. I remember saying he was from California, Southern California, Nazi lowrider. I don't know that to be true or if he was just throwing something out there, but he wasn't the one to fuck with. He was like that dude from Felony Fights back in the days that thought he was Dracula. That was him, right? He was fucking with that shit. So, he had a lot of people spooked in that building. I ain't gonna lie, man. A lot of the brothers, a lot of the whites were like, nah, hell no. That motherfucker right there, like, he'll eat people. He was on some Cannibal Lecter Hector or whatever his name is shit. Cannibal Lecter, right? Just someone you don't fuck with, right? And was willing to go the distance. So when the white dudes, they come up to us, they come up to some of the brothers, they're like, hey, what's going on, man? You know, we're noticing a lot of whispering going on here. listen here, brother. What you gonna do, right? And this is, like I said, the Wood was a big dude. He was cool, man. And he sat down at the table. He's like, can I get at you guys? Again, this was a different program, different state, where everybody was a shared day room. Everyone segregated themselves, but it wasn't like California where the Sureños and the fucking whites are over here and the blacks and the northerners are over here, where if you cross that line, you're either going to get shot by the tower or stabbed by the Mexican, right? It wasn't like that. It was more so, hey, can I get at you? Yeah, sit down, bro. You're more than welcome. Very respectful shit. But political at the same time. So he's like, what's going on, man? I noticed this young black dude, he's all sweaty all the time, pacing back and forth, fucking marching and shit. The brothers, we feel like he might do something, bro, right? So the Woods are getting their tacticalization on with the blacks. We're just eavesdropping. And because we already told the blacks we're not going to be involved one way or the other. It's none of our business, And the big white dude's like, look, if you guys want to get rid of him, my boy will do it. Okay? So the crazy one that bites noses off was willing to go into a cell and handle the business or even handle it right there. So the brothers, true story, they were like, look, whatever happens, just don't let it be in the open and don't let us see it, because then we're going to be obligated to get in. But we don't mind if you guys, handle your fucking scandal, Holmes. Do your thing. And so I was shocked because they were actually giving permission to another race to fucking put hands on one of their own. And I was like, coward shit, because they didn't really want to go to the hole. And it wasn't the whole ethnicity of the race, bro. It was them particular dudes that were there. Scandalous, eh? They cared about smoking weed and eating fucking spreads more than they did holding the standards of your people, man. Facts, right? It was just a cool situation. So anyways, this big dude was like, look, I'm going to try to talk to this guy before it has to get to that. Okay, right? So the big dude, he goes and says, hey, can I get at you, brother? And the black dude's like, I don't talk to white boys. That's what he said, right? And now the Woods not feeling that. He was like, look, bro, you're going to have to get the fuck off our building. And everyone's like, oh, shock, because now they're getting into it. It's going to be in the open. Now the brothers are knuckling up like, oh, man, it's about to go down. We're going to have to. So they're already looking at whites. Well, this crazy motherfucker just runs and swings a piece. Whoa, not the big dude, but the fucking crazy skin. Ah, coffee, right? Oi. So he swings. Boom. Bye-bye, white man. One down and a big fucker to go. Knocked him, bro. Knocked him out so smooth you didn't even hear it. It was like a silencer on a gun. Poof. Magic Dragon. You're gone, right? That motherfucker did the Dungeon and Dragon fatality. Mortal Kombat. He slid about 5 feet back, bro. That brother hits hard, right? This big dude came in, swung once. Knockout artist. Swung twice, and this little black dude on Crip. It looked like Ryan Garcia in a punching bag. Not like Ryan in a real fight, but on a punching bag. It looked like a Wes Watson story. The ones he lies about? Only truth, right? This fucking black dude put all kinds of fucking flashing ass dick beaters on him. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, he was rocking that big dude, but big dude caught him with the overhand. Boom. Hey, that black dude stumbled back and said, brother, you ain't going nowhere. And it was on, bro. Hey, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking their juice in the hood. That was a brother and a white guy going at it right there. Two, a Thundercat and a cat that fucking had thunder. Ras! They were going at it, bro. Everyone down, down, down. And this black dude caught this fool and knocked out all these, like 4 teeth. Right? That big dude stumbled, bro, and was shocked. His teeth were on the ground. He just dropped. This black dude got to stomping. They got out there macing, hitting him with the batons. He was still going. I remember the whole time he was saying, black power, black power, black. And we were like, what about Crip? And we're down. Okay, so what happens is they come, take everyone to the hole, man, slam us down. It's about 6 months later. That shit happens, right? They bring the big white dude back. The skinny white dude, man, I guess he took the rap. I don't know what happened, man, that he started the fight. They seen him on camera. They had cameras there. They took him to the hole. They took the black kid to the hole. They were gone. 6 months later, the brothers and the whites, there was tension, right? So there was a couple more incidents that happened because it was just not going to be like that. The blacks felt some type of way because the whites got off in the open like they asked them not to. So I know some brothers did get at the blacks in the canteen line. The brothers got at the whites in the canteen line and rushed them on another yard. But shit fucking falls apart, whatever. About 6 months later, man, we heard that this black dude this Crip gets released from the hole. And now he's on what they would call C yard, right? I was on B yard at this time, or B facility. He was on C facility. So they take him over there. And it was like a week later, they killed him, man. Yeah, a week later, the whites booked him. That was it. They got like 3 dudes ran up in his cell and booked him. I guess this dude got out on the same hype. Some people are like that, man. They're just fucking every attitude. That's why I tell people in prison, every attitude is different. But yeah, they used to call that dude the big white guy hunter. Hey, he was a down motherfucker though. I'm gonna tell you this. Like I said, after the looking out for him and then having a few conversations, he wasn't my stilo. He was like Crip Mac, only that could fight and fucking was militant, right? He wasn't nothing like Crip Mac. You know what I mean? But he was cripping though. And yeah, unfortunately, man, the way he was, and he wouldn't change. The hole didn't break him. It didn't shake him. Some people are like that. I've seen people go in and out of doing administrative segregation time, moving from yard to yard, and they always come with that same tale. It never shakes, man. What you did in that yard will reflect on this yard, and people feel some type of way. And a lot of people, like I said, the program's bigger than you, eh? Usually your own people will wash you up. They'll remove you. They'll whack you because you disrespected another race. That ain't cool. And also because fucking everywhere you go, you cause drama and fuck up the program. And like I said, man, Vatos like to go to chow and get packages. So that's just what it was. But yeah, man, I'll never forget that Vato got there. That big dude, he didn't have these anymore. But I remember same dude, man. I don't knock him. I mean, you can't win all the fights. But I never seen, and I'm telling you, this black dude was probably like 5'8", 5'9", skinny, chopped up. You wouldn't even never thunk it, right? It was like Fury versus Tank, and Tank won. And that was just it. Anyways, with that being said, just a story to tell, man. All true, actual factuals, man. Again, the brother ended up going to another different yard. We call them facilities, man, and they whacked him. His own, not his own people, but the whites whacked him, and that was it, man. It went off. The whites and the blacks were slammed on that particular prison for like a year straight, man. I remember. And we used to go out to the yard with just paisas and northerners, because they kept us and the southerners segregated, man. We'd go out to the yard, it would just be other paisas and northerners for the longest, man. No whites, no blacks. Shit, I played a whole lot of basketball, right? That's just what it was. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming, and remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the struggle, the strive, the strive, the struggle. I tell these stories not to highlight them and glorify them, but to tell you the truth, man. For the individuals that are thinking about getting locked up, they want to be from a gang, they want to do that, do what you do, man. But just remember, there's going to be someone who's political, who doesn't like you for the way you look, the color you are, and it's unfortunate. That's just the way it fucking is. And remember, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be your own people that throw you to the wolves. Carne, chorizo for your papas, and that's what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people, man. Respects to the Woods, Skins, and the brothers. Uncle Crip. Vato was with that shit. Bang, bang.